to New York City, or to Western New York back in 1999 when she founded the House of Talent. Talent is actually an acronym for the Artistic Lives of Newbin. She's known locally as Mother Talent and has maintained her legendary status not only through performance but also with her nurses, with her balls. I would like to now open the floor to Ebony.
Y'all gotta get some stairs in here. Hi, everyone. Let me shit. Honey, I can stand and practice that. Like she said, I am Mother Ebony Talon. I started the ballroom scene back in 1999. Now, how I got introduced to the ballroom scene was through a documentary called Paris is Burning. So if any of you are familiar with it, it gives you history of how ballroom started back in the late 70s in New York City. Now, originally, you know what? My voice is deep enough, I don't need that. Originally, ballroom started, it was like a pageantry type thing. And ballroom basically was for drag queens. And there were pageants. But how the categories got started, there was this one legendary butch queen. Butch queen is an acronym for a gay male. That's the term we use in ballroom. There was one legendary butch queen by the name of Erskine Christian. I know I'm not saying it right, but along those lines. He was so beautiful, so flawless looking, lovely. The girls loved him. And he's the one that opened up the categories for butch queens. Now, the way ballroom, well, let me just explain my history. When I was 18, I'm 42, I had seen Paris is Burning. Now, mind you, I was still in high school. But once I seen it, it was like I was traumatized. Because they were doing voguing and runway walking, and they had all these categories, and they had all these beautiful transgender women. And that was one of the reasons why I transitioned. Because of a lot of the legendary girls, a lot of them aren't here, like Octavia St. Laurent. There's so many of them. If you, like I said, if you Google Paris is Burning, you can see all of that. But that's how I got started in my transition. But also, too, I had said I wanted to be a part of that life. So I did the right thing, and I finished high school. I did, because I had to do that. Because I ran away from home when I was like 17. So I was smart enough to finish school. So once I finished school, I said I'm moving to New York City. Now for those that are familiar with New York, you know it's very expensive. Here I am, 20, had no clue. All I knew was I wanted to be in New York. I wanted to find ballroom. So I worked, I saved my money, $2,000, which is nothing. I moved to New York City with $2,000. I lived in the YMCA for almost a year. But moving on with the ballroom scene, the first thing I did when I got out that Greyhound, I went to the Village. It was 7 o'clock in the morning. I wanted to find Christopher Street. Because I was told Christopher Street is where the girls hang out, you know, it'll lead you to the pier. So I was ready. And back in them days, we had lockers, they had lockers and stuff in the bus station. So I wanted to put my stuff in the locker until my hotel room was ready. I went to the Village. I'm walking, I didn't know where I was going. I started to see flags everywhere. I said, I know I'm in the land. I'm in the land of the lovely. So what I up doing, I wind up moving to New York after, going a few times. I had started going to what they call mini balls. Now what a mini ball is basically, it's a shorter version of an actual ball. And what they do in New York City is they have like these events every week, once a week. And they're small events. And it's sort of kind of like a practice for the younger kids or people that's just getting into ballroom to prepare them for the main ballroom scene. And basically, it's like ballroom is divided up into so many different categories. You have butch queens, which are the gay males. You have butch queens in drag, which are the gay males that get dressed in drag from time to time. You have the femme queens. Like I would be considered a femme queen in the ballroom scene because I am a transsexual. Then you have the butches, which are the gay women that are masculine. And it's like you have so many different categories because, everybody can't vote. So everybody can't do runway. Everybody can't get dressed up in drag. So what they wind up doing is breaking the categories to where everyone could participate. And then you have those that just come to spectate. And ballroom scene, it just had got so wide and so well known, they even had a category called Best Dressed Spectator. Meaning that you just came to watch, but you're done from head to toe. That's how it goes. And nowadays, with the ballroom scene, there's cash involved. So nowadays, they're giving away like $5,000 grand prizes. But the thing is for ballroom is about creativity. This is our gay Hollywood. What we can't do out in mainstream America, we come to ballroom to live the fantasy. And that's basically what you do. It's about your creativity. It's about your talents. It's about, whenever you feel that you can contribute to ballroom, you're welcome. Now, the shady thing about ballroom is you do get judged. And that's why when you walk, you have to know your category. And once you get into ballroom, you will learn your category, you'll find what it is. Because when you walk, here's your panel of judges, you'll get scored. It's either a 10 or a chop. Now the thing about that is, with the 10s and the chops, you have to get your 10s to battle, to get in the battle zone. So once you get your 10s, that means that you perfected your category, you come as the category is called. Because each category, you have to come a certain way. So, like with this clip that we just seen, it was a runway category and the theme was come as Beetlejuice. So you have to give like a Beetlejuice type effect. And in ballroom, like I said, there's so many different categories, and depending on who has the event, it depends. You can bring it as you want. Now, with me here in Buffalo, I started back in 1999, and I remember it like it was yesterday. My first flyer was a handwritten flyer that I sat out and wrote by hand, went to Kinko's, made copies, and I went out to Club Heat on Delaware. I don't know if any of you are old enough to remember Club Heat. And I went to Club Heat, I started passing on flyers, promoting. Everybody had no clue, because they hadn't seen Paris is Burning. So everybody was like, well, what is this? I was like, it's a ball. Do we have to dress up? Do we have to wear tuxedos and gowns and things like that? I said, no. It's like going to the club. You dress as you want. Then I had, basically the flyer is like instructions to the wall. It'll tell you what category costs for what, how you're supposed to look, and how much cash is given away for it. Now, you know, I had the first ball. It was a success, excuse me. I used to have my events at the Hamlin House on Franklin. I don't know if a lot of you are familiar with Hamlin House, but I wound up having one ball. It turned out great. I had another one, so on and so forth. Here I am, 18 years later. I'm still legendary. Everyone knows me as Mother Talon. And this is like, I don't know, this ballroom, even though some people may look at it as a fantasy world for us, but ballroom can lead you, it can lead you into stardom, into Hollywood. Now, I don't know if a lot of you are familiar with Lee Daniels. He's a producer. He produced Empire, the show Empire. Now there's a spin-off show called Star. And one of the cast members in this show is Amaya Scott. Amaya Scott is a legendary transgender woman who walked the face. She's beautiful. She made her way to Hollywood through ballroom. And that's why I try to tell like a lot of the younger generation that's coming up in Western New York, trying to figure out ballroom, is you can make it something. It doesn't have to be just where the girls get together. If you're into it and if you feel like this is your craft, you never know who is watching. I'll give you another little history lesson. Vogue, Madonna didn't start that. There was a young child named Javier Extravaganza who started Vogue on the pier in New York City. Someone went back and told Madonna about this young kid. She went to New York and she found him. And he's in that Vogue video. See, she brought it to the forefront. But we started it underground, on the pier in New York City. And you know how voguing, where voguing comes from? Does anyone have a clue? No. Think about it. What's your idea of where Vogue came from?
Runway modeling?
You got it right.
Yes.
Basically what it is, Vogue started from the magazine. And what the kids used to do is the poses that they made in the magazine, they did it to music on the floor. And the purpose of voguing is, it's about your movements. No touching, you know, and it's just your creativity. And that's basically what ballroom is about, creativity. You know, and like I said, I mean, that's the opportunity for when the kids can come out, create their costumes. Like you've seen a lot of them different looks that they had on that floor. It's about your costume, you know. And like I said, this is our gay Hollywood. So, you know, and I'm glad that I was introduced to ballroom. I'm glad that I found it. I'm still active in the scene. And actually, this event here tonight has kind of got me inspired to want to host an event soon here in this building. And I would love for all of you to show up when it does happen. And how much longer I got? My time almost up. Yes.
Go as long as you want.
Okay. Can you hand me that water? Because my throat is dry.
Take a break whenever you want. Okay.
Oh, thank you. Now, before I forget, because it's on my mind, and people. I want to introduce two individuals that's in the room that's part of the Western New York ballroom scene. They're also Mocha staff. And I just want to bring them to the forefront so you guys can see them. Keon and Jawan, I'm sorry, please come up to the front. And if you guys could just let everyone know what you guys do and you know how you guys are a part of Western New York ballroom.
Okay.
I know it was unexpected, but hey, it's okay. Give me some.
So I'm the one. I'm the community health specialist at the Mocha Center. So I'm in charge of the programming and just the whole shebang. I also do HIV testing. So come see me.
Hello everyone, my name is Kenyon. I also work at the Mocha Center. We are located at 1092 Main Street between Summer and North. I am the HIV testing and counseling specialist at the Mocha Center. We both are cross-trained, so we both do about the same thing, but he does do a lot of the community events. He's very good at what he do, so am I, so you guys can come visit us at the Mocha Center. I got started in ballroom.
So right after high school, after I graduated out of high school in 2004, I found my little gay life.
I was still searching for mine.
That's when ballroom was really, really going. Ebony balls, other people started throwing balls around Western New York, and that's where I found my life to the ballroom scene. And I was actually the house mother of the House of Ballroom.
And we'll get to what houses are and mother and father and all that in a bit.
Yeah.
Then after I venture off into become a part of the House of Boyette, which was a local ballroom house in Western New York, where it sees.
Also, that's where I was found, I guess. I became a member of the House of Boyette as well. Our house father is named Lanier Boyette. He is a hairstylist and he's owner-operator of Garden Beauty, which is located at Main Street across from Burger King. What's that, Main and Beauty?
Yeah.
So that was our house father. And I also, after I left his house, I became a member of the legendary House of Blonde. I don't know if you guys remember the first clip. It was hollering Blonde. I don't know if you guys heard that portion, but I was a part of that legendary house.
And when they yell out like that, what that is called is chanting.
Yeah.
And basically, you're chanting for your house. And like I said, I'll explain what a house is shortly.
And the category I walked was realness and executive realness. So what that entails is, because I wasn't a vulgar, I do know how to runway, but I didn't indulge in runway. I stayed in realness. Realness is, if I can walk up and down the street every day, you won't know that I'm a gay male until you actually know me, you know who I am. So that's just like a, kind of like a perception, I guess. But you would never know unless you knew me and you know who Kenyon is. So if I walk, I can walk up Niagara, just walk my headphones on, you know, so that's a gay guy. So that was kind of the category that I walked. And that was a huge category. That still is a huge category, so.
And I walked Butch Queen up in drag, which is still a huge category. Ebony explained it earlier, is when a gay man get up in drag. That was me, and I also walk hand performance, which is, it's Vogue, but without the dipping on the ground and all that.
Yeah, it's like voguing, like sitting down, and just basically moving your hands. That's what it is.
Don't let him fool you, he can vogue too. You left that part out. So that was our life in ballroom. We're actually going to New York City this week to go to the House of Ebony.
Oh yeah, it's their 35th. The House of Ebony is hosting their 35th annual ball.
Yes,
and it's like a big event. It's
Yeah,
really
they'll be there next
so we'll be spectators.
Yeah.
We're not walking. So yeah, that was basically, yeah.
Well, all right. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
And another place where you guys can see a lot of voguing, like a lot of up-to-date stuff, if you go on Ballroom Throwbacks, that will show you a lot of events. Actually, the Ebony Ball might be on Ballroom Throwbacks after. So remember that, Ballroom Throwbacks. You go on there, you can find out when, whatever, wherever a ball is given. Now, like, they were saying like about the houses. Now, Ballroom basically, how they used to consider it back in the day, it's like a gang, but it's gay. We're all gay. And like they say in Paris is Burning, instead of street fighting, what the kids do is they go to the bar and they battle on the floor. And they battle for the trophy, they battle for the cash, or whatever else they're doing. Now, basically, a house consists of a mother and a father. And usually how houses got started is, you know, back in the day, like when kids used to come out to their families, and I don't know if a lot of you experienced that. I experienced it myself as a trans woman. You get neglected. Your family rejects you, they kick you out, you have nowhere to go. And so these kids back in the day, they were kicked out of their house, they were sleeping on the pier, you know, hungry, nowhere to go. That's when you find mother. The mother usually is the strongest one. She's the most popular. She has all the knowledge. And the mother will take these children in, and they start a house. And it was like, the first few houses, I believe, they were, I don't know, they were named, some were named after famous ball walkers. Now these were the transgender women that used to walk the pageants. And they made a name for themselves. And that's how they started their houses. But coming up to date, now houses are named after famous designers. Like you have the house of Mizrahi, you have the house of Gucci, there's Extravaganza, there's Prada, so on and so forth. There's so many, I can't name all of them. But when I had started my house, it was me and it was like 2 other individuals. And basically, they had no clue. And I had to basically coach everyone here in Western New York that's part of the ballroom scene, just to give them an idea of what's going on. And the thing about it, and I don't want to make it seem like ballroom is segregated, but there's predominantly, ballroom consists of predominantly Black and Latinos. And I would love to see other nationalities participate. And I know a lot of people say, well, I can't vote, I can't do this, I can't walk like that. It's all about perfection and practice. Because once you practice, like I said, you will perfect your craft and your category. You just have to know what your category is, you know? And just by me looking at some of you individuals, I can tell you what your category is. You know? So, I mean, and that's just basically, like I said, that's just how I got started. And I don't know, where we go from now?
You want to take a break?
Yeah, we could take a break.
Can I just add something?
Okay.
Ballroom, she gave y'all the most of it. Ballroom, like she said, was a pageant thing. It was actually, it was started by the Caucasian girls who didn't want the African Americans around. One of the African American people found out what it was and brought it and flipped it to what it is now.
And like ballroom is, what, almost 40, 50 years old. And like we were saying, the legendary House of Ebony, they're having their 35th anniversary ball. And it's gonna be a big event. And if I would have prepared for it early enough, I would be going too. But I mean, Ballroom has gotten so mainstream to where it's in Paris now.
Yeah.
You know, they even have a Paris ballroom scene. So like I said, I mean, you guys are all on social media. Just Google. You know, just Google ballroom throwbacks, Vogue, whatever, and it'll land you to where you need to be. So we'll take a break, and I shall be back shortly.